Well, I have a lot of things to fix. There's 4 pieces of equipment that are broken in the studio right now, each of which plays an important role during the casting and finishing process. First off is this belt sander. Irene uses this to flatten the backs of some pieces and to take additional metal off of cast pieces that just have too much metal to file by hand. The burnout oven has a temperature problem. The controller says that the thermocouple has failed, and I'm taking that as being true. But I have replacement parts here in this box. I have replacement parts in that box right there. Last time I replaced one of these thermocouples was about 10 years ago. This machine is 20 or 25 years old, so it's been doing pretty well for its age. The temperature sensor is in that little black dot in the middle of the screen. That's where the thermocouple goes to read the temperature. So I have to take the shell off, that's the outer metal, and pull that thermocouple out and put a new one in. It should be pretty simple. I've done it before, but you can never tell. This is one of the manual wax injectors that Irene has. Like many other pieces of equipment we have in the studio, we bought it between 20 and 25 years ago. And it's been a workhorse for a long time. But the thermostat died on it right before we were getting ready to go on our long trip. And it took quite a lot of effort to find out what repair part was necessary. Unfortunately, Rio Grande Jewelry Supply did not have the cross-reference to this machine. They changed their databases some time ago, and evidently those links were lost. So I spent time talking to the original manufacturer in Taiwan, which was really interesting, and they referred me back to Rio Grande with some specific numbers to give to them. So the parts are in order. It should be in the next 2 to 3 weeks. Again, not a really complicated job. I'm going to have to drill a couple of holes and mount the new thermostat in a slightly different way, but that's not a big deal. Now, we've made hundreds and hundreds of waxes using this digital vacuum wax injector. It's worked really, really good for us. You can see some of the failed pieces of wax here. If there's a bubble or something is missing, it just goes back into the melted again pot. It just goes back into a pot to be remelted. What's happening here is this injector nozzle down here this wax injector nozzle down here doesn't seem to be working right. Now that could happen for a lot of reasons. It could be because there's a piece of hair in it, there's a bit of grit or something else. So I have to take it apart, and unfortunately there's no instructions on how to take it apart, so this is going to be a slow job making sure I take it apart the right way so I don't damage anything. Well, it's time to get back on that sander. Again, with the sole exception of this piece of equipment right here, everything else I'm working on is at least 20 years old. Now, there are 2 bearings in this machine, one on each side of this axle that has the belt wrapped around it. And it's possible that those have gotten rusted, or it's also really possible, because this is a machine that was made in China, that the yak grease that they use to sometimes lubricate the bearings at the factory could have congealed. So I have to take this apart so I can gain access to it. In theory, removing this piece of dust collector will give me access to the two bearings. I hope it does anyway. You know, I had to go find a new manual for this machine, and unfortunately we've had it for, I think we bought this about 1997, 96, somewhere in there, and in the ensuing 26 years the design has been changed a little bit, so it no longer has the same exact component structure as the machine did all those years ago. That's one of the things when you're working on this kind of old equipment, is you always have to be concerned about how many changes have happened between the version that you have and the version they're selling now. The problem with, or the issue that that raises, is if the machine is too old, a lot of times they will no longer carry replacement parts, and then you play a real game of trying to figure out how to modify the equipment so that it takes what's available. Or you go find another product that fits exactly where the original part fit and works the same. Either way, it's quite a job. I'll take a look now and see how much of that mechanism has been exposed. I always bring a little flashlight with me so that I can hopefully see into some of these dark holes, because there's a set screw that holds this sanding wheel on, and I'm trying to find it because I need to remove that. Well, we might have something else going on. I'm going to take a look and I'll be back with you. It looks like there might be a piece of fabric or something else wrapped around this axle. We'll find out. Well, the bearings look just perfectly fine on this machine. I pulled on this belt to see if I could move it, and you know what? This belt had taken a set. By set, I mean that it had stuck itself in one position. So the belt had actually formed to the rollers on each end, and that provided enough resistance so that the motor couldn't spin the bits and pieces. So let's give it a shot. Hopefully this works. Well, it was looking like it was bearing problems. Could have been something that was stuck in here. There was something in there. I pulled it out. It's no big deal. It was just a piece of thread. But sometimes it's the obvious stuff that you don't really think about. And in this case, the obvious thing that I didn't think about was whether or not this belt had taken a set. I had no idea how long ago Irene had used this machine. It's been a while, evidently, and the belt simply took a set. So I now know that if we have this problem again, all we do is start rolling the sanding belt backwards or forwards, doesn't matter which way it goes, and that should free it up, just like this. And since this is working, I think I'm going to go see if I can do a little bit of work over on the burnout oven, because I have the part. It'd be nice to get 2 broken machines down in one day. That'd just be awesome. Meantime, I'm going to put this dust collector connection back onto the sander. I'm going to unplug the sander. I don't want to accidentally turn it on when I'm working on it. I don't need to lose any skin. That's unplugged, so it should be safe now. Now just put this connection back on. It's just 2 bolts, not a big deal. But if you want to have some dust collection, you need to have it. I am right-hand dominant, and I've lost some ability to use my left hand. That's not from anything recent, that's mostly from damage from a number of years ago. You know, sometimes things go in a lot harder than they came out. This is going to be one of them. There we go. And one of the things that I did is, Irene has a full set of sockets and a socket wrench down here in the studio, and she doesn't know it yet, but I'm going to be picking up a full set of screwdrivers with the next paycheck. For some reason, our screwdrivers seem to have gone walkabout, and part of that's from having had a number of people work for us over the years. We've had hammers and screwdrivers and things like that go missing. It's one of the things that happens, especially if you're not there all the time. When we were building our house, there were times when I could be here and times when I couldn't be here. And most of the people who did the work for us were pretty reliable, and they gave me my tools back, which was a good thing. But not everybody's so honest. And sometimes they drop a tool someplace and don't pick it up and forget about it. 1 down, 3 to go, and 2 cars to go. No end in sight for the amount of work that I need to get done. But it's getting done. Got a bunch of things done in the house, got more to do. Bunch of paperwork I need to get done. It'll get done too. Well, thanks for watching. Don't forget to hit like, subscribe, and ring the bell for notifications, because I got more things to fix. Irene's doing more things. She was down here doing some bronze casting earlier today. I can't wait to see how those turned out, because she's using a different casting technique than she typically uses. These are some pretty big pieces, a lot bigger than a jeweler normally makes. And Irene already makes things that are a whole lot bigger than jewelers typically make. This is even bigger. So, it'll be interesting to see how all those turn out. We'll catch you on the next one. Bye. Hey, don't forget to brainstorm, because we're still doing it. But now we're doing it here at home.